So I recently posted a video sharing my experience with the Fujifilm X100VI over the past 6 months. In doing so, I added a little post prior to making that video to see if you had any questions about the camera. And in fact, you did. So thank you so much for dropping them all by my post. There was more than I thought. So I didn't actually include them in that review video because I thought it would get a little bit too long. So what I'm going to do is answer them in this video. I'm heading into London, loving the summer here. This summer in London is absolutely the real thing. So I'm going to jump on a train now, and I'm taking the Fuji with me to capture some late afternoon light, and I'm going to answer those questions. So let's go. Question number one, is it more pocketable than my Sony A7C Mark II? In short, yes. It's a smaller body, smaller form factor. Overall, of course, it depends what you're comparing it to in terms of lenses on the A7C Mark II. But yeah, I'm more likely to put it in a bag that's not a photography bag or bring it out and about. It's actually super light. When the sealing kit is on the front of it, it does make it protrude a little bit, and I have had a bit of an issue therefore finding a perfect kind of sling bag for it. And actually, on this little outing to London, I'm going to go and check out something that I think might work quite nicely for it. Do I use filters with the camera? Again, yes, I do. I really love my Polar Pro Short Stash Everyday filter. It's probably my favourite. It's a combined CP and mist filter. Apart from days like today, when I've really geniusly forgotten the weather sealing kit which goes on the front, which is what you need to attach a filter. So that is kind of annoying. It's kind of annoying that you can't just screw them directly onto the front. So today there's no filters. I've also got a really cool hood with a filter built into it, and that's a CP and mist as well. I do favour that sometimes when I'm out about. Might have been useful for this afternoon because it's so bright. But yeah, filters are good. I really like them, but I've shot quite a lot without a filter as well, such as today. So you can see today all of my images are sun filter. Next question is, do I shoot in black and white? Not really. I never really have on any of my cameras, and I haven't started doing it on the Fuji. Something I would quite like to do. I've tried a couple of times, like literally a couple of times, and never quite nailed it. I'm not sure I've quite got the touch or quite got the idea behind black and white photography, but if you have any tips for me on that, please do drop them down below, because I'm always willing to try something new. Survived absolute chaos that is Chinatown. Some nice light though, so hopefully some of those photos came out nicely. Next question is, do I go through a lot of batteries? Once again, not as many as I thought, considering how small they are. I am pretty terrible at turning the camera off. I like to keep it on at all times so I don't miss a moment, especially when I'm shooting in London. So I always carry one with me, or a battery bank. But the amount of times I've had to change it, maybe not that many. I mean, I think if I was out for a full day, I probably would need two. But if I'm just out for a couple of hours shoot, which is what I'd normally do, one usually does the job. And of course, if I'm using it for a little bit of video, then that really sucks the juice. But as they're so small, I don't mind carrying them around with me, really. great question was, do I struggle with a vertical composition due to a lack of like a fully articulating screen? No, I don't really. On my Sony, if I'm shooting low, I'll pop it out vertically. I don't tend to. I really enjoy using the viewfinder on this camera, so I typically use that, and I'll just kind of bend down if I want to take a photo low, and I just hold the camera up. I shoot vertical quite often, probably more often than I should. On this camera, I'm trying to shoot a little bit more horizontal, but personally, I don't find it a problem. So one of the most commonly asked questions was about whether I found it restrictive having a fixed lens camera. Of course, it is more restrictive than having lenses. If you're used to having an interchangeable camera, such as I am with the A7C Mark II, you haven't got that choice. All you've got is that 35mm lens that is baked in to the camera. It's not coming off and you're not changing it. However, for me, I actually have found this to be far more of a positive than a negative. I've loved not having to make a decision and just working with what I've got. It's made me a bit more creatively challenged, and I've enjoyed that. I've never found myself wanting to shoot wider than 35. I'm not a particularly wide shooter, and if I wanted to kind of get more in, I just take a step back. I guess once when I was in New York, I found when I was in the Oculus building, I wanted to get a really wide shot, but you're talking like 1% of the time. Occasionally it's come up short, and I've wanted to get a little bit more zoom, but it is what it is. And the thing is, it depends entirely on what you're going out to shoot. I use this camera for street travel and a bit of everyday kind of activity, which it's absolutely perfect for. Of course, I wouldn't want it for wildlife or big landscapes or things like that, where I want a little bit more reach in either direction. But on the whole, I really enjoy not having to make that decision, especially when traveling. It also, of course, makes the camera really light and just really enjoyable to use. But I would love to know what you think about this, because as I say, it was the most commonly asked question. So what are you thinking? Restrictive, not restrictive? Penultimate question coming up here after what can only be said is a tour of my least favourite spots in London: Trafalgar Square, Piccadilly, Soho, like the most touristy areas you could possibly go to. I avoid them like the plague. I don't quite know how I ended up there today, but I actually quite enjoyed a couple of the photos that I've got, so maybe I need to change my attitude on touristy areas. However, I think I've reached my max coping ability for that kind of area. People everywhere. Anyway, penultimate question is, do I crop a lot in post due to having the fixed lens? Not really. I straighten my images sometimes. I just like the aspect and things like that just to kind of straighten them off. Occasionally I crop in a little bit, but not a huge amount, to be honest with you. So yeah, not really. I like to kind of frame it up in the camera and try and get it as spot on as I can. So, final question. It's a good one, difficult to answer. Black or silver? As you will have seen in the video, I have the blacked out Stealth, which I absolutely love. I didn't have a choice, I have to be honest. When I bought it, it's all I could get, and I was very lucky to get my hands on one when I did. I've never had a black and silver in hand. I've seen loads of videos, obviously, and loads of photos of it. It does look super, super nice, and it adds that real retro vibe. So I don't know. Can't really comment. I don't think I could decide between the two. I think they both look really nice, but I appreciate I'm sitting on the fence a little bit there. So let's drop a comment down below. Let's see what the most popular vote is. I suspect it is the black and silver. Anyway, those are the questions complete. I'm quite glad I made this a separate video now because I think it's quite long, and I've really enjoyed coming out and shooting with the Fuji this evening. What an evening. I mean, London in the summer, you just can't beat it, and we are having a really, really good one this year. So I hope you enjoy the photos. Any more questions, do drop them down below. I'd love to hear them. I hope you enjoyed this and took something away from it. If you're thinking of buying the camera, or you have the camera, or just wanted a bit of photography inspiration. So I will look forward to seeing you in the next video. Hopefully at the same time as this being out, my 6-month review will be out. I'll try and put them out at the same time. So I will look forward to seeing you in the next video.